Hi, and welcome to my podcast. I really just wanted to start this because I wanted to keep track for myself of the things that I was working on, things I was interested in, how things kind of went for me. But I don't know, I just thought maybe other people might want to follow along on this journey. You see me looking down a lot. I've got my notes over here. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Elizabeth. I have been knitting since about 2004, but I kind of knit off and on. And then I've been crocheting since 2012, and I've been doing that pretty consistently over the years. Then I think it was last year. Um, in 2020, obviously everybody kind of found their own thing to do while they were stuck at home. I really hunkered down and crocheted more, but I also wanted to relearn how to knit. So I slowly did that with little swatches. Um, and then from there, I saw all these projects in 2021 that I wanted to do, like garments and socks and things like that. But of course, I realized that that might be really difficult for me at my basically back to square one um, level that I was at. And so I just kind of hemmed and hawed, and I ended up in 2022 challenging myself to learn how to knit socks because just a little backstory. My husband um, blows through socks. Oh, yeah, I guess I should probably mention I'm married and I have two children, two beautiful boys. But my husband, he blows through like store bought socks pretty quickly, holes in them and things of that nature. And so I decided maybe hand knit socks would hold up a little bit better to the kind of wear and tear that you're putting on your socks. And so in 2022, I challenged myself to learn how to knit socks, which probably in hindsight is not the best beginner project, but I didn't really have like guidance because I don't have a craft group that I go to in public or anything like that. I do participate in the online community now, but at the time I don't have a knit group. I still don't have a knit group and things like that. So um, I kind of charged into it head first with a lot of YouTube tutorials, and I really just kept trying. It took me about a month to make my first sock, and then the second sock took me about 2 weeks because I had a little bit more confidence and kind of knew what I was doing. I did take the socks out the first time with the first sock. I took it out a lot. So I think that definitely helped me learn. Um, and I think I was trying to do magic loop first, not having any concept of this, like having live stitches and things like that on this big cord. Um, but I ended up getting 9-inch circulars and found that that works a little bit better for me. It makes a little bit more sense. And obviously, I do magic loop for like the toe. And I have actually knit a pair of socks, magic loop from start to finish. Just the one though. um, I when I came to the gusset, I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. So uh, here I am. I challenged myself this year, since I learned last year how to do socks, to knit a sweater. Now, I kind of got swept away throughout most of the year because a lot of things have been happening for me this year, and I forgot this goal. And that is definitely one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast, was because I wanted accountability for myself. And not that if I achieve a goal or if I don't achieve a goal is a good or bad thing. Like, I just want to do this. And so, what better way than to have it on recording? But that's just a little bit about me. And where you can find me is on Instagram. I'm Angel's Cottage. And on Ravelry, I'm Arcania. And then on Etsy, I also have an Etsy shop. I'm Angel's Cottage Shop. And I'll put the links for all of those down in the description box just to make it easier. Um, and since I do have an Etsy shop, you will hear me talk about that sometimes. Uh, we'll just kind of see how that goes. I'm not necessarily trying to sell you anything, although that is what it's for. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my crafty life. And so I will be discussing it from time to time. Um, so let's move right on into whips. And I have quite a few here. Well, quite a few that I'm actively working on. So one of the knit-alongs that I participate in is the Crazy Sock Lady does a summer sock camp throughout the summer, and it's like from the end of May till the end of August, so it's quite a few months there. And I did this last year, although I was really slow, obviously, as a new knitter, and I'm probably still what some would consider slow. Um, but I decided to charge into that headfirst this year, and I'll put a little picture up here somewhere if I can figure out how to do that when I edit. Um, that shows you kind of what my grandiose plans were for summer sock camp. And probably by the next podcast, I will do a summer sock camp wrap up and talk about what I did or didn't do within that photo, and you'll see what I mean. But this is one of my whips. This one is a finished one, obviously, and it's a sock for my husband. It's made with, I did this on 9-inch circulars. It's a vanilla sock, and I did the Crazy Sock Ladies size large, I think it is 72 stitches. And this is a handful of yarn. This is Heartless. And then the cuff, heels toe cuff is a Sorella mini skein that I got in the Oopsie sale. So I don't actually have a colorway name for this one, but this is the first sock. I haven't even cast on the other sock, although I do have it right here. My husband made me this yarn bowl that is really, really cute. It's a cat theme, and the yarn comes out the tail here. I've actually got the skein and the mini in here for when I do cast it on. But yeah, this is my first whip. Like I said, I haven't cast on the other one, but I just love the way this worked up. It's so beautiful. I mean, it's really dark. My husband likes dark colors. And it's a beautiful purple, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually like some plum in here, and there's like some lighter gray bits that are in there, and it's just it worked up really nicely. So probably on camera it's not coming across, but it's really, really, really pretty. Um, and then the next whip that I have that I'm working on is another sock for my husband, and this is in the Peter Pan's Flight, the old version by Sorella Yarn. They did a Disneyland collection this year where they re-released this colorway, but they had updated it to their current dye style, and so it's not quite this bright. It had more of a dark teal in it. And the pattern I'm doing for this one is called Sockbroker Light by Pixel Faye, and of course I'll link that below. But hers are normally longer, and I decided to see if I could do it as a shorty. And I don't know if you can see the specific details here with the slight ribbing on the top, but these are actually my husband's first pattern socks that I'm going to be making him. I typically just do vanilla. I have tried to do pattern ones for him, but I had to rip them out because of one reason or another. I didn't like the way it was working up, or I cast on the wrong stitches, or things like that. So these are going to be really interesting, and the texture is really nice if you can't tell by the fact that I keep touching it. So that's another whip. And then this is my next whip, which of course is another pair of socks for my husband. Seeing a theme here? Um, these are vanilla socks that I cast on in the Crazy Sock Ladies size large, um, and 72 stitches, and I do about 8 stitches, or 8 rounds, I mean, for the cuff, and I do about 8 rounds for the leg, because he likes them really short. I don't really consider it a leg. And then, of course, heel flap and gusset, and just a bunch of rounds. I think it's something like 70 rounds for the foot before I get to his toe, because kind of got a big foot, as men do. Um, but yeah, this is in, I don't think I said the dyer's name. This is in Red Door Fiber Studios, Rakish Audacity. And I have a little bit of a backstory for this one. This was for her Dungeon and Dickheads Club, which was her take on a Dungeons and Dragons club that she did, I think it was last year. And I wasn't able to get my hands on a lot of them, but I'm in this destash group on Discord, and I'm able to get my hands on it that way because some people are destashing them. And when I saw this one, first I loved the color because it is dark teal with light teal and some gray and some dark brown with dark brown speckles, and it's just really pretty. But the colorway name got me. Rakish Audacity. I personally don't play D&D, and neither does my husband. It's something that we've talked about we might be doing in the future, but we do play World of Warcraft, and so some of the D&D abilities kind of carry over into that gaming nerdism. And Rakish Audacity, it just reminds me of my husband because the audacity of some of the things that he does. And it just fits him. So I had to make him a pair of socks with this. Um, and then that's all I've got right now for whips. So let's go ahead and move into finished objects. So I have right here a pair of socks that I completed for myself. And these are, I'll just hold up one. These are by Yarnable. The yarn dyer is Yarnable. It's a subscription box. And basically, um, you pay a monthly subscription and they send you a mystery yarn, but it comes with more than just yarn. It usually includes a couple other things, and it varies from month to month. Some months it's like a notions bag and stitch markers, and some months it's a little treat like a chocolate or I think the month that I got this is from April. Um, it was like a carrot cake brownie, which was delicious. And it also came with like a bunny rabbit stitch marker and a little bowl to hold like your stitch markers. And it was really, really cute. And I actually did a poll on my Instagram for this because I had a bunch of socks uh, caked up, not yarn caked up to make socks. And I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do next because they're all just so pretty. So I did a couple polls and I picked out about 6 or so that I thought, hey, let's get people involved and see what they say. And they picked this one. And while I was working it up, I was just like, oh, they picked such a good color. It's so beautiful. And I love the way it turned out. The pattern is String of Lights by Sock Witchery. And I will link that below. I continuously do this pattern for the Yarnables because I just like it. I can't stop. I think it showcases them really well, and I just love the particular pattern on it. So yeah, that's that sock finished object. The other object that I finished is this, and this is called the Lamia wrap, and it is by uh, Tony from TL Yarn Crafts. I'll put the link below. And this is actually Tunisian crochet. It's not technically knitting, so but I'm including it because obviously this is for my crafting journey. And we're gonna see all kinds of things on here because I have no chill. But the yarn that I did this in is actually called Strawberry Swirl from Explore Knits and Fibers. and it turned out so beautiful. I had originally bought this with the intention of making this pattern. It was a worsted weight. The pattern itself calls for Aran weight, which is like a heavier worsted, and I decided that not all yarn dyers carry Aran, and I really wanted to make this particular pattern with this yarn. And so when I bought from their update that they did, I think it was last year, I've had this yarn for a little while. I bought worsted and said I would figure it out when it came time to do it. So when I did it, I actually just swatched, which I don't typically swatch, and I have a feeling that's probably about to start changing once I get further into the garment making. But I don't typically swatch, and I did swatch for this one. And what I did was I went down a needle size. So I think it calls for a 6.5, and I did it with a 6, and I about met gauge. I was off a couple stitches, and I realized in hindsight it's probably because either my tension or because the yarn I'm using was a lighter weight. So I just went ahead and cast on. And I have to laugh because I'm slowly getting my husband into all this crafty stuff. Not necessarily that he's doing it, but that he knows about like a gauge swatch and things like that. And when I did the gauge swatch and then I measured and I measured and I measured like repeatedly to make sure that I did meet gauge or get close enough that I felt comfortable to cast it on, I immediately took the gauge swatch out because I was going to use that yarn. And my husband was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm taking the gauge swatch out because I'm going to use the yarn to cast on." He goes, "Aren't you supposed to cut that and block it?" And I said, "Well, it's different for every pattern because it is. In this particular pattern, she had said that you don't need to block it to meet gauge. Like it was an unblocked um, swatch. So I just have to laugh because he was absolutely horrified that I immediately took the gauge swatch out. Um, but that is my finished object for this little chunk of time here. Things have been kind of crazy, so I haven't been able to finish everything that I wanted to. Um, yeah, I think that's it. So now we're going to talk about acquisitions, and this is going to seem like a lot, but there's a reason. So I'm prefacing that by saying it. So typical acquisitions, I have here an acquisition from the D-Stash Discord that I told you that I was in. And this is from Red Door Fiber Studio from her Octar collection, which is her collection she did, I think it was in 2021, based on A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And this is the colorway Play the Fox. And I think that it is so pretty. This is on her fingering, classic fingering, so it's 100% superwash merino. And it's so soft and plump, so I absolutely love that. And then I also got from Shop La Mercerie, they have a sock of the year that they do, I think it is called. And I didn't subscribe at the time. Don't know why, because I've almost collected them all at this point. But I saw this one and I knew I had to have it. And this is by which Fibers. Oh goodness. And this is called the Double Double Sock Set. And it is absolutely stunning. It is on a 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 2-ply base. And it is just so pretty. I am a speckle lover. And she has a ton of these dark blue, beautiful speckles in here. And it's just lovely. And I can't wait to be able to cake these up and cast these on. But we'll talk about that later. My next acquisition, I'm actually a part of Fangirl Fiber Studios, has a couple of like monthly clubs that she does. They're mystery clubs that they're based on a theme, and she's got a book club theme and people actually read the books with her, which I think is really cool. She has this one that I signed up to, and she has another one, but I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm so sorry. If I'll remember, I'll put it here, or uh, maybe put it in the description box. But this is the Disneyland Attraction Club, and this one is based off of Hollywood Studios in it's based off of Toy Story Mania in Hollywood Studios, California Adventure, and I think Tokyo Disney Sea. And there's a little info card in there, but I typically keep them in the sleeve, so you're not maybe going to get the full effect of this beautiful color, but it is stunning, and I love it. I have really liked all of these that I've gotten so far from her, and I missed, I think, the first 2 months, but when she opened it up again, I jumped right on. And then this one is from maybe Stash. Let me try and straighten it out here. Some of these little stains got away, but this is from Long Dog Yarn. She did a one collection. I think last year as her mystery club, and then she released it as a pre-order earlier this year. And the first go around, I missed out on it, and then the second go around, I was able to purchase, but this was actually bought from somebody's stash because I didn't want the minis at the time, and of course I regretted that. But I have them now. I have the variegated ones at least, and they are so pretty. And I had no plans for those, just bought them because they were pretty. And then I have this one that I got from the D-Stash. Take this out of the packaging. I'm so sorry for the noise. But this is Woolberry Fiber Co. And this is their sock set called A Quiet Winter's Night. And this is their berry sock base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. And it's just such a lovely blue with a dark blue as the mini, and it's stunning. So when I saw that was in the D-Stash, I had to have it. Now this is my actual order. It just came in the other day from Long Dog, and I'll show you the back here. So there's a code in the front that I forgot about. But I ordered the Riders of Rohan sock set, which comes with a mini. Let's see if I can push it to the back for you. And then I ordered the Gandalf sock set, which also comes with a mini. I guess I'm just going to flip this around. This is kind of hard. The Gandalf sock set right here, which is super stunning. And then I got, see, this is Gandalf right here. And then this is, ooh, the name is escaping me right now. I guess I'll link those below. But I got quite a few sock sets, because obviously that's what I do. And I got a couple of single skeins with the intention of maybe making a hat. I have the Muscle Burl hat by Isolde Teagues. I hope I said that right. And I fully intend on making a few of those because that's the other thing that my husband really wears a lot. Okay. So, that's about it for typical acquisitions. My next one it's going to be for Flock. So I don't know if you've noticed, I've been wearing this shirt, and this is from Flock Fiber Festival that was held this year, August 4th through the 6th in Seattle, Washington. And me and my family went, which includes my husband and my 2 children. We went to this festival, and it was great. There's a lot of things I would do differently, obviously, but it was my first fiber festival ever, and it was chaos, probably because it's like the West Coast version of Rhinebeck, which is a huge fiber festival that takes place. There's actually, I think, like 4 of them. Woolen Folk, um, Cake Palooza, and two others I can't think of right now that happen in Rhinebeck, and it's a huge, huge, huge thing. And it's over the course of, I think it's like 3 or 4 days. And it's really great. But I'm all the way over here on the West Coast in Oregon, and I can't make that. So when I found out the flock was happening, I did everything I could to make this happen. So obviously, I got this t-shirt, and then I got a sweatshirt from the merch there, and I've been wearing this. It's super, super cozy. I love it. And then I got a lot of things that we'll talk about over here. I also ordered a tote bag, but um, that was on a pre-order basis because by the time I went around to get it the merch, they were sold out of them. So that was a bummer. I did, however, get this Sorella bag that they had made for Flock, and I think it is really, really, really cute, obviously. And we've got some things that they had like a theme, obviously, of like knitting and this little wool wash, and they have knitting needles and crochet hooks, and they did knit flicks, and they had a whole theme going on there and in their booth, and it was really, honestly, so great. They had like hardwood floor on the bottom, and it literally felt like they had art on the walls and everything. It felt like I was walking into a house, not a booth at a fiber festival, and it was really, really great. And they got off to a rocky start. This is their first time vending at any kind of a fiber festival, and they ship their stuff. They're all the way from the East Coast. If you don't know Sorella yarn, I will link them below. Excuse me for 1 second. I want to take a sip of water. They're from North Carolina, I think it is. They're all the way on the East Coast, so they had to ship their stuff here, and the shipping company did not treat their stuff very nicely, and so that was terrible, but they persevered, and they overcame, and if they hadn't posted that on Instagram, I don't think anybody would have known. So here's what I got from their booth. Oop, got this coming out here. I got a couple of skeins, single skeins. I really went to Flock with no plan, and that is definitely one of the things I'm going to change next year. But they had their Autumn in New York collection there, which they did for Rhinebeck last year. I think they did a pre-order, if I remember right, but they also did a pop-up in a shop in Socrates, New York, I think it was. Can't remember the shop name off the top of my head, but obviously I wasn't able to go to that, so I was very happy when I found out they were bringing this back. But this is Soho. It is a lovely tonal, nice and light gray. I really, really like it. And then I also got Skyline, which is this dark, moody, bluish gray, and it's absolutely stunning. And all of these are on their classic sock beige base, which is 100% superwash merino. And then it's 2-ply. And then I got Bistro, which, oh man, this is such a lovely navy blue. How could I not get that? And then I got, this one's called Dinner Party, which was kind of an unusual get for me. I lean towards the cooler tones, but I also don't discriminate. If something is beautiful, something is beautiful, and I will get it if I can. This one's called Newsprint with all these lovely speckles. Lovely, lovely, lovely speckles. It's so, so beautiful. And then I got Lamette, which is a lovely lighter toned cream and gray with some taupe in there. And it has some darker gray in there, which is just beautiful. Then I got The City That Never Sleeps because it's purples, dark purples. and some gray, and it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. And then I got Speakeasy, which is a dark purpley black. It's so, so pretty. And then they had this experience in their booth, and basically, um, they had a ton of minis on the wall behind them, and you could come in and make your own petite palette, which is what they were calling it. You could do 5 mini skeins or 10. I opted to do 10, and again, I went in with no plan. So poor Brooke was trying to help me out, but basically, I told her that I like purples, and I like blues, I like greens, and I like pinks. So this is what we put together. And I think it is so, so pretty. Again, don't have a lot of plans for these. I kind of just bought. Um, I kind of figured some of them would be socks, but I might be able to do a fade for a sweater once my skill gets up there, because a lot of these colors kind of blend together, with the exception of probably this one. And yeah, when in Rome, right? So I got that at Flock. And then this is a bag by Sorella, but I didn't get this at Flock. I just brought this with me to Flock, and it came in handy. So when they did their Disneyland collection this year, I was able to get this bag. Really, really, really cute. I'm a huge Disney nerd, so I went and saw Woolberry at the Shopla Mercery booth. I missed that on their Flock colorway. Yeah, it sold out pretty quickly, and I was able to get a sandcastle sock set for my husband on their Berry Cozy base, which is 80% merino, superwash merino, and 20% nylon. And it came with this lovely dark shade. So that was beautiful. And then I got their Flock mini set that they had there at that booth also. And I actually stopped and talked to Bethany and Reese, who run Woolberry. And I got to talk to her about her Disneyland trip, which just made my little heart so happy, because obviously I'm a big Disneyland nerd. And it was just a lot of fun to be able to talk to her about that. And then from there, I went over to Fangirl Fibers, Pacific Knit Co., and Arnosaurus all shared a booth together. And they did this really awesome thing called a doodle bar. Now, Pacific Knit Co. Actually put out these doodle decks. Oh, they're in my other bag over here. So I'll pull out all the doodle bits here because it's a lot, and not everything in this bag pertains to that. So we'll circle back to this one. But they had this bag at Fangirl Fibers, and it's iridescent. And it says, in my defense, I was left unsupervised and the Fiber Festival was open. Perfect if I say so myself. But they had doodle kits, and the way they had their bar set out, a doodle bar, in the front they had all these minis, and so, so, so much more. And they had a couple of full-size skeins that were, they had Yarnosaurus' side and they had Fangirl's side, so you could mix and match. So actually, this is Fangirl Fibers DK base, and it's 75/25 superwash merino nylon DK weight. And then I got, I think all these minis are Yarnosaurus, and I think that they're the same base. If not, it's her 85/15 superwash nylon base that she has. And so I picked these. So they just called to me. And so this is going to be a doodle, but I'm not sure which one yet. I think the floral doodle is the one I'm going to do that with. But this was Yarnosaurus's Flock exclusive colorway, Soaring to Flock Comes with 2 mini skeins, and it has this itty bitty little stitch marker that is so cute. It's got little dino prints. I'm a big dinosaur fan. And she, of course, has lovely speckles in this purple. Had to get that. And then on the first day, my son picked out this, which is a bright, bright green from Fangirl Fibers called Just One Bite. And it's on their 80/20 superwash nylon blend. He likes green. For some reason, he picked this out. He's big into Minecraft right now, my oldest, and he, I think, wanted me to make something creeper-like with this, but I don't know if I'll be able to. I know he said he wanted me to make socks, so he bought that. And then on the second day, he told me he wanted a blue skein, and this was the one he picked out. And it's called Paddock A, and it's from Yarros. So it's 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and it's so soft and stunning, and I love it. I'm supposed to, I think, make a pair of socks for him with that, but yeah, it's probably what I'll do. We'll see. And then I got this one, which is called Dinosaur Cove, and it's very blue and lavender with speckles. It's really, really pretty. Could not resist. Same base, 85/15. And then they had doodle kits that were pre-made doodle kits that were DK aside from the doodle bar. And so they had that, and along the wall they had Jamie's doodle decks, which these are really great. It comes with different doodle cards, and it has like the schematic for the 2 different ways that you can do a cowl. That's typically what they are, but she also has like a hat pattern, and I think she just came out with a sock pattern, and so you can kind of mix and match these into those, and I think it's really great. But I got the Summer Doodle deck, which has her ocean doodle like motifs, and then it also has the mountain doodle. And originally when I bought that, I didn't know. There was a very wonderful volunteer in their booth who helped me find the ocean one because I couldn't see which one had the ocean one in it, and she picked this up and gave it to me, so that's that one. And then Jamie from Pacific Knit Co. also did an exclusive Seattle Doodle pattern. I think it's released now in Ravelry, and if it is, I'll link it below. But she also had this doodle deck, and it is for that pattern. And I think it's really kind of neat. It's a nice little memento because I can go to Seattle often, but I don't. That was actually my first time in Seattle, and we'll kind of see how that goes as time goes on. Obviously, if Flock continues to be in Seattle, I'll keep going as long as I can. But the kits that they had look like this, and I apologize for the bag crinkling, but this one is from Yarnosaurus, and it is her Haunted Doodle kit, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and these are half skeins. So typically, like this skein right here is 100 grams, and these are 50-gram skeins, so that you can make doodle sets and maybe not have too much left over, depending on if you do the infinity cowl or the one-sided doodle. But I got that one, and then I also got her ocean doodle set, and I just love that. I think it's so pretty with the blues and the pinks and the green. And then Fangirl Fibers had an exclusive set for the Seattle one. It's called Seattle Nights, and of course, like, I bought the Seattle Doodle deck, so I had to get this, right? Like, I just had to. But this is on her 100% superwash merino DK base, and it's the same thing for these. They're 50-gram skeins, so that you're not, you don't have a bunch of yarn. And it came with this cute little stitch marker inside of there that says Seattle. But she also had, Fangirl Fibers also had a bunch of stitch markers out and needle stoppers. So this was the exclusive block set. might not have been exclusive, Seattle based. So there's Pike Public Market, the Fish Market, there's like a cruise ship, an umbrella, the Space Needle, Seattle, a thing of coffee, and then a Ferris wheel. And then this, I believe, was Flock exclusive, and it's called the Little Miss Flock set, and it has Little Miss Flock and her little sheep. And oh my god, the sheep is so cute. I had to get it. I couldn't resist. The next stitch marker that I got is Rapunzel as like beads, and it's really pretty. I loved it. She had so many stitch markers on her wall, and I showed great restraint by not getting a bunch of them, even though I did get a lot. And then she had these stitch stoppers, and I'd never, not that I look around a lot for stitch stoppers because I'm still kind of a new knitter, but I do have some, and I never saw this one before. It's Donald Duck, and I love him, so I had to get it. It's my excuse for everything in this video. I had to get it. And so I did. So now, circling back to the other bag that I had at Flock, because that was pretty much the doodle stuff. I stopped over at Silly Goose Yarns booth and said hi to Courtney and got her Flock exclusive colorway called I Flocking Love It. And I do love it. It's so beautiful. It just reminds me of a sunset. And this is on her plump fingering base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And then I went to Explore Knits and Fibers booth, and when I went there on my first day, it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, with Friday being like a 2-hour shopping window, I believe. So I didn't go to on that day, but I did go on Saturday. And when I got over to that booth on Saturday, it was pretty cleaned out. I guess, I mean, obviously I know that Explore Knits and Fibers is really popular, but they were wiped out. And I don't have a picture of some of these skeins here because I sent them off to my friend Lisa at Cozy Cauldron Co., I believe. Lisa, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'll link it below. But this is the one that I got for myself, and this is Balsamico, and I've wanted this for ever, basically since she had made the color, but I wasn't sure. Like I said, I went in with no plan, and so I just got a single skein, hoping that would be enough for my little soul. I got it in the Denali sock, which is their 80/20 base, and it's so pretty. Not pictured from their booth is about 7 skeins. I got 4 Lavandula in Denali sock and 3 barrel aged sour that I went ahead and sent over to Lisa. She found out I was going to Flock because I posted about it, and um, she was kind of bummed she couldn't go, and so I offered to pick up anything for her, and that's what she asked for. And on day 2, I went straight for it, man. I at 7, it opened at 10, and at like 10:07, I was over at that booth with them in my arms and double checking to make sure that I had everything. But because I had blinders on, I ended up missing out on, they made a mini set that was the tonals that they made exclusively for Flock. I believe it was their Seattle base colors, maybe just Washington as a whole base colors. They had recently done a Shopla Mercery collection, and they kind of expanded on that range with the ones that they brought to Flock, and they were beautiful. I just had blinders on because I was on a mission. And so I went over to Hello Lavender Designs, and I met Reshma and her husband. I believe his name is Mike. I'm sorry if that's wrong. A lot of stuff. It was chaos. um, but my son picked out a pair of earrings for me, and they are stunning, and I love them. bring them up here nice and close so you can see. And she had a lot of beautiful things. I think by the time I got over to her on Sunday, she had her exclusive stitch. She had a stitch marker set that she made for Flock. I think they were sold out by the time I got there. And the next thing I got was a bunch of stickers. So let me pull them out here. Some of these are from like Yarnosaurus, for example, is this one. Fueled by Dinosaur and Yarn. Totally true. And then I think in here somewhere is, a Silly Goose Yarns, which is so cute. The little dog in the jacket and the yarn. So cute. And then I ended up talking to Maggie with Yarnosaurus for quite a bit because she was talking to my son about Minecraft, and she gave him this sticker, which says "Let's knit together," and it's got dinosaur footprints on it, and it's really cute. And then I got these ones. It says "Meet me at the Doodle Bar," and it has Fangirl Fibers, Pacific Knit Co, and Yarnosaurus, but it's in like neon lights because they had neon lights that said Doodle Bar in their booth, and it was really, really cute. And I truly regret not taking pictures of the booths and things like that, but I was just very overwhelmed in a good way because it was a lot of things to see. And like I said, I'd never been to a fiber festival before. These next stickers are from Cerulean Orchid, and they're all yarn based, and they're so, so cute. Got this one for my husband. It says Yarn Elixir, and of course it's like gaming based. That's why I got it. This one is part of their Zodiac collection, and it's an Aries, which is my husband's Zodiac sign, so I got that for him. And of course I got the Gemini one for me, which is so cute. Two llamas, I love it. And then I got a squirrel hoarding yarn acorns because so cute. And then I got What the Flock, which was one of their Flock. They did a couple of stickers for Flock, and this was one of them. And then they had one that said Flock U, but it was like a sheep U. And then they had another one that said O Sheep, and they were all really cute. They all had this kind of sheep here on it. It's really cute. And then I got this one because it's like yarn and mountains and trees and like scissors and buttons, and I just thought it was a really cute crest. Then I got this yarn kitty because yarn and cats. And then I got this dragon who's holding yarn. And the joke of this is that recently my husband's been calling me a dragon because I have a hoard of yarn and I'm very protective of it. So that was our little joke, so I got that. And then because I'm from the Pacific Northwest, I got these trees on a yarn ball, and I really love it. It's really, really cute. I'm very happy with all of these, and it had so many more that were really good ones. They also do yarn and project bags, I believe. I think it's about four people that run Cerulean Orchid. I'm pretty sure that's what they said, and they take turns making art and things like that, and I thought that was really, really cool. Now, the last thing I got was Salt and Timber, which is a book by Lindsay Fowler, and it has knit patterns in here. And she was there on Sunday from a certain time to a certain time, but she was there, and then she actually signed my copy, and we got to chat for a little while. And the picture, she had samples of some of these knits, and they're just like, she had this one out, and she was explaining it to me, and the design is so subtle, but it was beautiful because she put a lot of thought into it. There's like the mountain ranges and then the trees and more mountain ranges, and it's really, really beautiful. And it was really cool to talk to her because I have quite a few of her sock patterns, and I've made Um, one, I have plans to make more. I've made one for myself, and I took the scraps from that project and made my son one. So I was able to talk to her about that, and I pulled her pictures to show her, and she let me know that she is redoing some of those patterns, and I thought that was just really cool to be able to talk to her about that. And I might insert photos around of the people that I got to meet there because I got to meet a lot of indie dyers and famous people. Well, to me, they're famous. It was like celebrity sighting. I kept, ooh, look at that. Oh, that's so and so. My husband's like looking at me like, no. But it was really a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I went and look forward to going next year. Um, so that was my acquisitions part of this podcast. They typically won't all be this way. Like I said, because I went to Flock earlier in the month, that's the only reason it's this much. Otherwise, I don't really buy yarn like that. What I'm currently reading, I'm going to pull up my notes here because it's a lot. I just finished The Serpent and Wings of Night by Clarissa Broadbent, I believe. And I'm actually reading that for, um, I'm in another Discord with Fantasy Fibers Yarn Co., I believe was the name of it. And I'm part of her book club. And so that was what we chose to read this month and discuss. So I actually got the book ahead of time and read it before I was supposed to, but I had not anticipated reading it that much, which sounds silly, but I don't get a lot of reading time because I use a lot of my free time to knit or hang out with my children or play video games with my husband. Um, so what I ended up doing was putting my knits to the side and focusing on reading this book. Um, and then I'm also reading Attempted Rescuing by L.G.Estrella, which is actually the third book in a series. And my husband suggested this book to me, and we have a little bit of a back and forth because he reads more than I do, but what he reads and what I read are different. I typically read romantic fantasy, and he reads like fantasy adventure. And so he found this book and he was reading and he just thought it was really funny and he said that I should try it. And so I did, and I actually really liked it. So about halfway through, it picks up, and it's a good book series. I really like it. I tore through the second one um, pretty quickly, which I think is called Attempted Adventuring. And now I'm in this one, and I'm about 30% into the book, and it's still pretty good. Um, the next book I'm reading is also a suggestion from my husband, and it's called The House Witch by Delemhach. I hope I said that right. But that one's pretty interesting. I'm only like 25% into the book. Like I said, I don't really get a lot of time to read, typically at night when I'm putting my children to bed or something. Um, that's pretty much it. It's a good book. It's very interesting, and yeah, that's about what I'm currently reading. I just finished Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I read that in like 2 days. I put everything on hold to read that. It was just so good. Um, and I look forward. I think the next one comes out in October or November. I'm looking forward to that. And then we're going to be reading Six Scorched Roses by Clarissa Broadbent, which is a novella from her uh, Crowns of Nyaxia series, which is also the book I mentioned in the first part of this segment, The Serpent of Wings at Night. It's a little novella in between the first book and the second book. So we're going to be reading that next to my book club, and I look forward to that. And then I think next month or the month after that, we're going to do an Oktar reread, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, with my book club. And then soon after that, we'll be reading Crescent City, which I actually haven't read. I've put it off because um, the second book, House of Breath and Sky, got spoiled for me on the internet. and I've been waiting for any news of the next book, which she just recently announced the title and the cover, I think, and a release date. So when that gets a little closer, I'll start reading that. Um, Currently, I'm watching Friends. I've always got that on repeat, basically. I'm a big Friends fan, and it's just my comfort show that I like to watch when I'm knitting at night or just getting ready for bed, honestly. Um, and I recently started Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. Uh, I love that show. It's so funny. It's like my fourth rewatch or something like that. And I'm honestly surprised that number is that low, but my husband recently just bought it, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm rewatching Yellowstone with my husband. I'm trying to get him into the show, and he likes it so far. But that's pretty much it for reading, watching, not really listening to anything. I kind of bounce around podcasts and things of that sort. So I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. If you're still here, thank you. Appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Uh, Hit that subscribe button, and of course, ring that bell for me so that you can know every time that I post a video. Um, I'll put all the links in the description box to everything that I can below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.